keep the U.S. from blowing up evidence for further investigations. With the U.S. and Russia both engaging in military actions inside Syria, often at cross purposes, the risk of direct conflict has always been there. It seems, however, that this new U.S. attack is the most serious threat yet to start a direct U.S.-Russia war, with no sign cooler heads are going to prevail. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports almost half of Americans support President Donald Trump's plan to secure the U.S.-Mexico border with National Guard troops, according to a new survey released on Wednesday. In a Politico and Morning Consult poll, 48% said they support the idea, while 42% said they oppose it. Morning Consult Chief Research Officer Kyle Drop said Trump's decision to deploy National Guard troops is hugely popular with his base. 60% of Trump voters strongly approve of the decision. Among that same group, 49% strongly approve of Trump's job performance overall. Just 22% of Democratic voters support sending troops to the border, compared with 84% of Republicans. Independents are evenly divided, with 44% supporting each position. 36% said building a border wall is a priority. 54% said it was not. Trump's decision to send troops to the border is more popular than his job approval, with the poll showing just 43% approve of his performance. A majority, 52%, disapprove of Trump's job performance. Vice President Mike Pence has a 43% favorable rating, with 42% viewing him unfavorable. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Our very own Tracy met farmer Ray Kimball, who says that his horse, Franklin, has the ability to speak full sentences.
When did you first realize he could talk?
Well, I'd hear him saying things when I was sleeping, and then I'd go out to the barn and we'd have some real conversations.
Can we talk to Franklin?
He can't wait to meet you. Say hi, Franklin. What's that? That's a good one.
What did he say?
He said, "Who's the pretty lady?"
Aw. Franklin, do you like living on the farm?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Did he say something?
Tracy, you live here now.
I spent a cozy night at Ray's farmhouse in a room he called the altar. I learned that the farmer has a whole lot more on his mind than just a talking horse.
You are my beloved.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Computers are online. I'm gonna start loading software.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom.
Broadcasting live from Vertcoin Studios on LRN FM.
You're listening to Will.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say!
And Aria.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Stay tuned for political talk and everything crypto. That's right.
Broadcasting internationally on our BitPlus network satellite.
This is
the Call to Freedom.
All right, let's boot it up.
That's right. Welcome here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. It's a live Thursday night broadcast here from the VertCoin studio in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. Joined live via remote by my regular old classic crew, Miss Aria Demezio from cryptocurrencycheck.org and Mr. Tom Gray. How you doing today, guys?
One of these days I got to get a website of my own so you can announce me as being from somewhere other than, like, my house.
Yeah. Well, I can't. I know you don't really want me promoting the name of the business that you come from, so.
Yeah, I gotta get something else, you know,
Right.
because I can't even advertise myself as being from a specific wrestling promotion because I work for a lot of them, but I don't officially represent any of them.
HomelessRepublican.org.
That's probably like already a thing out there, but I'll figure something out. Anyway, Aria's got her side hustles pretty well set up, so just sell her stuff until I've got something to sell, you know?
Is Aria with us today?
Yeah, she's in the TeamSpeak.
I can't hear her.
We're waiting on
Chelsea
to get in. She is stuck in traffic. Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method. Her boss actually said something entirely reasonable today.
Sorry, my microphone was off.
So what's up, Aria? How are you?
What's up? I'm just sitting here talking like, what's going on? Anyway, I'm judging from the video that we were listening to a moment ago that I'm really going to enjoy this episode.
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about the Pompeo hearings today, and
I've never heard the word gay sex so much in my life.
I know.
It's like every other 3 words, it was gay sex.
Now, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker questioned CIA Director Mike Pompeo during his confirmation hearing to be Secretary of State on his views about Muslims in the United States and homosexuality. That was today. Mr. Pompeo has some questionable relationships. I surely wouldn't want someone who worked with, the 14-word press to be working at the Department of State. And I would hope that someone wouldn't want someone who had a working relationship with a similar organization that was used to target my community. I would hope that that's unacceptable in America as well. That there aren't some prejudices in this country that are, what's the word I'm looking for here? Anyway, so, but we're also going to be talking about Rand Paul's completely flaccid response and efforts to interview or interrogate Mr. Pompeo as well.
So we get flaccidness and gay sex all in one episode?
Flaccidness and gay sex, but no bukkake today.
I don't know, man. It's
Tom, you poor thing. All right. Anyway,
I'm sorry I missed the bukkake thing, but the Rand Paul thing is just like so flaccid you can't even make sexual innuendos. He's on such a pro-Trump cuck level that you can't even call him a cuck because there's no sex happening. It's not even sexy. He's just got his nose buried so far up Trump's butt that he can't.
Well,
and tries to couch it in libertarian terms. I mean, that's what's stupid about it. I mean, he's literally grilling Mike Pompeo because he says Pompeo's not enough like Trump, and then trying to pretend that has anything to do with anti-war or the founding fathers, or I mean, it's just gross that this guy is supposedly the future of liberty when he's such a piece of junk right now.
And yet you have sources like conservativereview.com with titles like Rand Paul could destroy the Mike Pompeo nomination. I guess that was much ado about nothing there. Conservativereview.com. Tracking Ron. See, now there's something to take a look at. Tracking Ron Paul in the age of Trump. Yeah, let's find a video that's not on Facebook of that Rand Paul thing, and I'd love to actually to get into that as well.
I'll try.
We're also gonna introduce you to one of the organizations that Mike Pompeo has this really good buddy-buddy relationship. Turns out I have a personal history that goes with this organization that goes back, good Lord, almost 10 years now. My very first activist work was infiltrating an Act for America office in Orlando. Anybody that knows me or has met me knows that I look like everybody's cousin Jim Bob. And so it's not particularly hard for me to blend in with a group of white nationalist, anti-immigrant bigots, because I kind of look like them. You know, I really look like them. I really, honestly, on some days, I look like a stereotype for them.
I used to look like a Nazi, remember?
Right.
The skinhead Nazi.
Right. But I used to, I infiltrated a few of these organizations in Florida, and that's where I got my start. So I have video from some of that. From some of that efforts. The very first time that I attempted to leak video to the media and to bigger groups, this media leak and the reaction from major Muslim organizations is also why I created Muslims for Liberty. So the video that we're going to be listening to a little bit later, after we get back and start listening to some of the questioning of CIA Director Pompeo, will show you just the type of individuals and their dedication to the rights of other people who are different than them goes. And I'm sorry, but if you're willing to have a working relationship, the kind of relationship where you go and you speak for these people, you donate to their organizations, you share their content, validating their message, then you don't really need to be in a position of power. I'm sorry. And for Rand Paul to be so, lackluster, half-assed, like, I don't know, like, what's the proper term for what he's doing here? Getting on his knees and for the Trumpkins in his constituency, so he doesn't have to worry about a primary in his next election, because
thought we weren't doing bukakis.
Right, I was gonna say, what happens when people get on their knees?
Right. So anyway,
hi Chelsea.
Hey, how you doing?
Right, hey Chelsea. So Chelsea's finally here. So when we get back, we're going to get into this line of questioning that was given to Pompeo today, the current CIA director, in his confirmation hearings to take over as the head of the State Department. If you've got an opinion on that, give us a call at 603-283-6160. We'll be right back.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agoristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agoristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agoristhosting.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.fm पे।
Apollo 69. All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcast live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and we are getting into a discussion on the Senate confirmation hearings for Mike Pompeo today. Now, Tom, that link you sent me for Rand Paul, the video won't play on my end. I don't know why. So
sounds like you need a new computer.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully,
Cheapskate.
maybe you can find one on YouTube. Anyway, the first set.
It's a YouTube video. It's an embedded YouTube video, dude.
Well, no, the link, it won't play. It's trying to play an advertisement. It's locked up on the advertisement. So, anyway, we do have the questioning from Cory Booker here, though. Cory Booker, a Democrat from New Jersey. I've watched. He and I trade barbs with each other on Twitter quite often. Mr. Dean Obeidallah from CNN and the Daily Beast, particularly left-leaning Muslim media personality, talking about it all day. And I watched part of the hearings, and you know what? I have to admit, I'm not a fan of Cory Booker's. If you voted in favor of the NDAA or the funding of wars since 2013, then you're definitely no friend of freedom or liberty. But at the very least, you had something to say about this particular CIA guy.
Frank Gaffney?
Yes, I do.
And you've been on his show dozens of times.
I was on his show some, yes, Senator.
I have here over 20 times, and he has talked about Muslims should be, who abide by the adherence of their faith, should be considered, should be tried for acts of sedition and should be prosecuted. Did you remain silent when you were on his show? Did you ever question? Because I have a lot of his statements here. Mm-hmm. Did you remain silent on the? And he's, from my notes at least, you're a friend of his. Were you silent in your position of authority against these words that are violative of the American Constitution? Were you silent with him?
Senator, my record on this is unambiguous.
Sir, if that's your response, you did not say anything to call out his remarks. What about Bridget Gabriel? Do you know her?
I do.
Someone who runs an organization that has been considered a hate group by the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center.
All right, now I know those two. Those two titles, particularly the last one, the Southern Poverty Law Center, are like these huge red flags that go off, particularly in our listening audience for some people. So to make sure that you understand, like, this is not an unfair, like, oh, we want, like, when they labeled the guys at the 10th Amendment Center and Michael Bolden, when they labeled them alongside people like Pam Geller and Frank Gaffney and Brigitte Gabriel, when they put them on lists with the same people, myself, the organizations that I've worked for over the years, we would all fought back, all spoke out against it, all said, look, a great title from an article on a website that for Muslims for Liberty is that Southern Poverty Law Center paves its road to obscurity with character assassinations is a beautiful title for an article. And it was because of the fact that the organization, and I'm about to play you a clip that I actually leaked to the media myself. These people deserve to be on this list.
That we live in. You think that it looks like it too? Because I would argue yes.
Oh, I love it. No, their feet, the foot baths. Oh, I love pissing in them.
That's so appropriate.
I love just walking up, just after drinking a six-pack. I really got to go bad.
How do you expect people to take you seriously?
I really don't care.
I understand that.
I really. I try, and the Koran makes worthless toilet paper. Just kind of scratches my ass a little bit.
All right, now, when I was living in Florida, I infiltrated this organization that you hear this guy making these statements from. And on a number of occasions, I actually witnessed with my own eyes him encouraging audiences to go to local airports, to go to local mosques, and to replicate his behavior. That this was a commendable thing. It was a way of, quote, fighting back to commit theft, fraud, and vandalism. Were valid ways of, quote unquote, fighting back. So if you have any reservations about, because of the fact the SPLC sees this organization as a hate group, well, there it is. That's the director of their Florida chapter, one of the most financially successful chapters, and Florida is the national headquarters, the home of the national headquarters for the organization. He's not national director, of course. He's just quote-unquote state director in Florida, Mr. Alan Kornman, who was the voice that you heard on that video. And we'll get back to Mr. Booker.
Were you silent? Did you ever call her out on her remarks that are hateful or bigoted?
Senator, I've spoken to a number of groups, and I believe my record with respect to tolerance and the equal treatment of people, I think
you never. Yes or no? Did you ever call her out?
Senator, I couldn't tell you. I don't recall each statement I've made over 54 years.
Okay. Well, I believe the special obligation that you talk about for Americans to condemn things or attacking our Constitution or ideals would obligate you in your own definition to speak out. When it comes to...
Senator, if I might, I have called out. We had a terrible fellow in Kansas named Fred Phelps.
Sir, I have a minute left.
And I called him out.
I have a minute left because I do want to give you a chance to speak about your comment.
Fred Phelps, okay. So, Tom, is calling out Fred Phelps the same as calling out Pam Geller? Do you remember who Fred Phelps is, right?
I know who Fred Phelps is. I'm blanking on Pam Geller.
Pam Geller was the redheaded crazy lady who led the anti-mosque at Ground Zero crusade.
Fred Phelps is a lot worse than Pam Geller.
Well, not only it's a completely different context. One attacks soldier funerals. Oh, well, I called out Fred Phelps. Well, we're not asking you about somebody that attacks soldier funerals. We're asking.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, that's easy to do. We're asking you about a person who says that my wife should be deported. People that say that me, as an imam here in Keene, New Hampshire, that I should be arrested and prosecuted simply for possessing the Quran in America.
Mainstream Republicans, in other words.
And these are people that are there lobbying for laws in your state legislature, taking your right to private contract away in the guise of attacking Muslims.
A severe allergic reaction causes Florida to swell up to twice its normal size. And a Ford assembly line worker is thinking about asking out a cute welding robot from work. It's time for the weekly feature with over 14 subliminal and completely unapologetic cues to purchase Energizer batteries. This is the Onion Week in Review. Area man Brett Lucier told reporters Tuesday he was left winded after placing a particularly lengthy lunch order at a local Wendy's. A weary Lucier said he struggled to get through the 7-item order and even suffered a cramp while asking for the spicy chicken sandwich.
I thought I was just about done after I ordered that junior bacon cheeseburger, but I was able to get that Frosty in there too.
And in this week's op-ed pages, a local man talks about how he was always just one of those kids who was off by himself taking cats apart to see how they work. In your hands right now are the 24 AA Energizer lithium batteries you were subconsciously manipulated into purchasing. We make no apology. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me. About my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And I'm wondering, are you wanting to get into the crypto game? Do you want to get in, but you've not, you've not got the time. You're not going to spend your whole day sitting around and reading candle graphs and reading white papers. Hell, you probably don't even know what a candle graph is. Well, let me introduce you to Helium.com. Now, it's a savings accelerator. And they've designed a bot, and it watches the value between regular fiats and cryptocurrencies so that it can move your money when the timing is just right. Now, it's powered by Uphold.com, and you just load up your account using a bank card or your very own crypto wallet, and then you just set it and forget it. It's completely automatic, like the crockpot of cryptocurrency. Helium lets your money move you. So go on over to helium.com with an E. That's HELE.com, HELEUM.com/CTF, and get a special thank you for being a listener here to the Call to Freedom. So now we've been talking here about the Pompeo hearings and how so far Cory Booker has he's been challenging Pompeo's public statements in the past and his public association with folks who are particularly well known for running organizations that go around advocating and seriously, like, I can think of 4 Tea Party meetings where they invited local Tea Parties in Florida out to a back room at a steakhouse somewhere, and Alan Kornman got up his little podium and told all the people in the room that if there were Muslim kids in the elementary school where their grandkids went to school, that they should be careful that they're probably going to try to blow up the school, and how, hey, you know what, if you want to fight back against these muzzies moving into your town, well, what you do is you go to the mall, or you go to the airport, or you go to the mosque, and you find those sinks that they wash their face and their feet in, and you piss in them. Just don't feel bad about it. It's okay. Just go and do it. And you know what? If they come in and ask you a question, just pretend like you're Muslim. Tell them your name. You're just interested and converted. Steal you a few Qurans, take them home, use them for toilet paper, and literally go to college campuses and tell college kids like that this is a acceptable way to behave in a civil society. This is a normal and acceptable way to behave. And Pompeo says, well, you know what? It's not. It's not. And for you to closely associate with groups that openly lobby state governments to rewrite the laws to exclude certain religions from First Amendment provisions or to criminalize the practice of religion, that's a little troubling. And if you didn't call them on it, then you don't have a right to call other people on similar actions. And we'll get back into his questioning here.
Comments on gay and lesbians. You said in a speech that mourning an America that endorses perversion and calls it an alternative lifestyle, those are your words. Is being gay a perversion?
Senator, when I was a politician, I had a very clear view on whether it was appropriate for two same-sex persons to marry. I stand by that.
So you do not believe it's appropriate for two gay people to marry?
Senator, I continue to hold that view. It's the same view.
And so people in the State Department, I met some in Africa that are married under your leadership. You do not believe that should be allowed?
Senator, I believe it's the case. We have married gay couples at the CIA. You should know. I treated them with the exact same set of rights.
Do you believe that gay sex is a perversion? Yes or no?
Senator, if I can,
yes or no, sir. Do you believe that gay sex is a perversion? Because that's what you.
Okay, now I'm trying to understand why that's relevant.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, it's a funny line of questioning, but what the hell does it matter what his personal beliefs are about gay sex?
For real?
I mean, they clearly. Well, hold on, Tom. They clearly said that people got gay married underneath them. They got gay married people working at the CIA, and I don't know. It seems like we would have heard some kind of reports about systemic discrimination if it was happening while he was in charge. So what's the relevance? I mean, they might as well just be asking him if he's gay and qualifying him or disqualifying him on the basis of his answer.
It's not quite the same. He's trying out to be the nation's top diplomat. So what he has said in the past about other people's lifestyles does play into how he's going to play in other countries where people have different views on those lifestyles.
Yeah, if you have a view that Muslims are inherently not human, maybe the chief of the State Department, Secretary of State, is not a good spot for you.
Yeah, well, that one definitely makes sense.
Because he's going to be
but that's a far cry from saying, you know what, I don't think two dudes should bone each other.
Right.
Why is it, though? Why is it? We're talking about...
Well, saying that people are subhuman is quite different from saying that, you know what, I think that's gross.
Well, some people would say, I think that saying that something is an abomination, is on par with that. Now, of course, Will and I are both part of faiths where homosexuality is considered sinful, but we managed to get along fine with LGBT people because we don't shove that in their faces all the time. This is someone who not only shoved that in people's faces, but tried to enact public policy based on that. And now he wants to be the guy who goes out to the world and is trying to make friends with people having that in his past. I mean, that's what the State Department is. It's diplomacy. And so his inability to be diplomatic with people whose lifestyles he disagrees with, it's relevant.
Well, I have on the issue of gays and gay marriage, I have a really hard time having a sympathetic ear for Democrats when they just decided that gay people were human a couple of years ago.
No more than a decade ago.
Well, not even that far back. I mean, it was Bill Clinton who signed DOMA into law.
Yes, his wife supported him wholeheartedly
and continued to support
second
him.
campaign.
Yes,
until her second campaign for president.
See, they didn't want the votes then, though. See,
exactly. See, and here's the thing. It would have been totally fair game for people to question Hillary Clinton on the same things when she was going through her confirmation hearing for Secretary of State, except that was a place where the Republicans who were in control of the legislature agreed with her at the time.
Well, and even if they did, Democrats wouldn't have believed that those words ever came out of her mouth.
Even if you showed them video.
Yeah, you could show it to them right now and they go, no, that's not true. That's fake news.
I love the ones that are like, no, Hillary did not sell George W. Bush's lies about Iraq to the Senate. No, she did not. And then when you show her the video, then the argument is, oh, well, she didn't know. She didn't know. She sold George Bush's line word for word, but she didn't know that every word that, I'm sorry. I mean, if you want to believe that, I've got some really awesome oceanfront property.
I got some crypto for you.
Middle of Wyoming. And I got some crypto for it. They're called Putin coins. They're worth $46 a coin. I got a few hundred of them. Anybody want some, just give me a call. So anyway, when we get back, we're going to continue on with the Pompeo hearings. And we're also going to get into why Rand Paul is a punk sissy who can't stand up for liberty while Trump is in office. We'll be back with that and a whole lot more, making fun of fake libertarians, when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Just one thing for me.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live here on the Vertcoin Studio in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and we've been talking about the Pompeo hearings and the interviewing, quote unquote, grilling, as I've seen it referred to many times in social media, of Mike Pompeo by Cory Booker. And in just a moment, we're going to hit the flaccid response as well of Mr. Rand Paul. Now, we're joined in studio right now by Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method, Aria Demezio of cryptocurrencycheck.org, and, well, my original co-host from way back, Mr. Tom Gray, also joining us from the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. I want to get this last minute out so we can go ahead and hit up what a loser Rand Paul is. I did it again. There we go. So let's see here. There we go.
Senator, I'm going to give you the same answer I just gave you previously. My respect for every individual, regardless of their sexual orientation, is the same.
So I will conclude by saying,
if I'm confirmed,
I will conclude by saying, sir, you're going to be Secretary of State of the United States at a time that we have an increase in hate speech and hate actions against Jewish Americans, Muslim Americans, Indian Americans. Hate acts are on the increase in our nation. You're going to be representing this country and their values abroad in nations where gay individuals are under untold persecution, untold violence. Your views do matter. You're going to be dealing with Muslim states and on Muslim issues. And I do not necessarily concur that you are put forward the values of our nation when you can't even, when you believe that there are people in our country that are perverse, and where you think that you create different categories of Americans and their obligations when it comes to condemning violence. So I'll have another round, but thank you.
So yeah.
What's wrong with being perverted?
Well, he's talking about, right. Well, Pompeo thinks
Thank you, Chairman Corker, ranking member,
that being perverse is a bad thing. It's the whole what is it? The alt-right's always going on about degeneracy.
Do you know
degeneracy? That's the big thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Pompeo basically said that Muslim Americans have a special requirement outside of the regular requirement of any other American, that we can't just feel bad about it like any other person does. I, as an imam here in Keene, New Hampshire, I need to call the local newspaper every time there's a terrorist attack, call the local news and be sure that they know I condemn terrorism, and that position hasn't changed since the last time there was a terrorist attack, because I got to remind everyone every time something happens that, it didn't come from New Hampshire, it came from Oklahoma, or it came from California, but just to remind you guys so you don't forget, our mosque doesn't support terrorism. So don't come try to burn the building down, okay? I mean,
that sounds like a good use of your time, right? To just constantly be calling up news outlets and be like, hey, by the way, my view hasn't changed.
Well,
I still condemn terrorism.
That's what's expected by a lot of these people who are out here waving their hands up and down, by the Pompeo types.
They're not wrong.
And his supporters, that, basically, if Muslims aren't protesting in the streets, that they don't support terrorism. The mosques should empty out every time there's a terror, because that's what happens every time some lunatic bombs a black church that's got a white face. Is the Southern Baptist churches, they all empty out into the streets on Sunday and talk about how they condemn things that are done in the name of, white culture, in the name of that kind of,
in the name of white Jesus.
For real.
But wait, they don't do that, Will. Instead, they say things like, well, it's the media's fault for teaching people to hate, and
it's
all
the video
race,
games.
all division is bad. And
but you do have people like Steven Anderson out there who are saying things in the name of their warped understanding of Christianity that someone like Will would never be able to get away with saying in the name of a warped view of Islam.
Not end up with an 11-year prison sentence for a Twitter post.
Right.
Now, I also wanted to cover Rand Paul's weak, limp-wristed attempt to address Pompeo as
Flaccid and limp-wristed. Man, it sucks.
You want to be too much in agreement with the president. Actually, where you're going to be too much in disagreement with the president. One of the things I have liked about the president is he says it is time to come home. Let's declare victory and come home. But it sounds to me like you were saying we need to stay.
Senator, sounds like I have a Goldilocks problem. Too close, too far. Different porridge for each. Senator, the president also said in the summer at Fort Myer that he was committed to the mission that I outlined there. That's consistent with what Secretary of State has been trying to do diplomatically. It's consistent with what Secretary Mattis has been trying to do by supporting Afghan forces in the country. I believe, and I share the president's view, that we have a continued role there. And while I want to get out in the same way you do, I have friends who are serving. I've had friends, as I know you would, who have been injured. We're not at a place yet where it's appropriate to do.
Here's the problem is, are we ever going to be at that place? I mean, so you've got people, the administration, yourself now saying in your written questions back to me that there's not a military solution. So we're sending our GIs out there to risk life and limb when there is no military solution, hoping that we, sounds a little bit like Vietnam, hoping that we get to a little position, let's bomb the crap out of them to get them to negotiate, and we'll get to a little better negotiation. In the end, it was no better in Vietnam. It was still a disaster.
I love that. It sounds a little bit like Vietnam. A little bit.
Yeah.
Bro, we passed Vietnam, like 8 years ago?
So because I had sent you the timestamp that got straight to Rand Paul's cuckery, let me tell the listeners what's going on there. So the question that Rand Paul had posed to Mike Pompeo was whether or not he believes we should withdraw from Afghanistan. Predictably, Pompeo gives a waffling response where he basically says, well, no, we need to stay there until we've reduced the terrorist threat to ourselves. And
so
Paul's response is, but the president Trump wants to get out. I don't think you're enough like Donald Trump. Oh, come on, Rand.
Right.
I mean, for crying out loud, you actually believe that Donald Trump wants to get out of any war. Based on what? Based on like one tweet that he sent out of the millions where he's threatening to bomb, a dozen more people.
Yeah.
And your quote-unquote grilling of Mike Pompeo consists of you whining that he's not going to be enough like his boss. And we're supposed to believe that you are the principled, devoted voice for liberty within the Senate and within the Republican Party, and you're going to be the one that turns the libertarian moment into the bright libertarian future. And no, you're a pansy. You've got your nose so far up Trump's butt to try to save your own electoral chances that it's disgusting. And anybody out there who is still holding this guy up as the pariah of the guy who's going to bring the libertarian message to mainstream politics, you aren't paying attention to him, or you're just a liar. And there's no way around it. All this guy cares about is appeasing the Trumpkins in his own state and appeasing Trump so that Trump won't launch another volley like he launched at Rand during the campaign. He's just trying to preserve his own butt. He doesn't really care about ending wars. He doesn't really care about fiscal conservatism. He doesn't really care about balancing the budget. He's all about kissing the Trumpkins' butts to make himself to save his own job in the Senate.
He's a politician. What about you, Chelsea?
Exactly.
What do you got to say, hon?
Oh man, I mean, I haven't really been following all this stuff, but sometimes I wonder if these people just have someone on staff who's dedicated to figuring out exactly how much you're supposed to, make these questions nonsensical and say nothing but say, whatever, I don't know. Most of the time I just watch this stuff and I get frustrated, so I stop watching it. But, we just listened to this whole thing, and what did they all really say? They all really didn't say anything at all. So
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, April 12th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,343 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $27, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,766. Antiwar.com reports in a Twitter screed directed at Russia, President Trump indicated that U.S. missile attacks against Syria will be coming and admonished Russia to get ready if they think they can shoot the missiles down. In his comments, Trump further declared Syrian President Bashar al-Assad a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. Trump has long expressed opposition to telegraphing U.S. military moves. This is raising criticism about his announcement that he's literally doing that very thing, although U.S. officials have effectively been telegraphing telegraphing an attack on Syria since the weekend. Trump followed that tweet with another and an hour later declaring, "Our relationship with Russia is worse now than it has ever been, and that includes the Cold War." He said there is no reason for this and said it would be very easy to improve ties, punctuating it curiously with "Stop the arms race," which wasn't the end either. A little over an hour after that, President Trump declared much of the bad blood with Russia is caused by the fake and corrupt Russia investigation, blaming President Obama and Robert Mueller for it. Despite Trump's suggestion that hostility towards Russia is not by design, the AP is reporting that the Secretary of State nominee Mike Pompeo is telling senators that the soft U.S. policy towards Russia is over. While the U.S. relationship with Russia has been getting worse and worse for months, the upcoming Syria strikes seem to threaten to make the situation even worse. The U.S. attack is using an alleged chemical weapons strike Saturday in Douma as a pretext, with Trump vowing to make Syria pay the price along with Russia and Iran for supporting Assad. Both Syria's Red Crescent and Russia's defense ministry have been in Douma already, saying they found no evidence of chemical weapons use. The U.S. and its allies resisted Russia's call for an investigation at the UN, apparently unwilling to allow that to play out before they have a chance to parlay the allegations into a new war. Russia is not taking the threats of attack lying down, however. They've been jamming U.S. drones flying over Syria and have threatened to shoot down incoming U.S. missiles. Perhaps most significantly, Russia is sending their military police into Douma, likely to keep the U.S. from blowing up evidence for further investigations. With the U.S. and Russia both engaging in military actions inside Syria, often at cross purposes, the risk of direct conflict has always been there. It seems, however, that this new U.S. attack is the most serious threat yet to start a direct U.S.-Russia war, with no sign cooler heads are going to prevail. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports almost half of Americans support President Donald Trump's plan to secure the U.S.-Mexico border with National Guard troops, according to a new survey released on Wednesday. In a Politico and Morning Consult poll, 48% said they support the idea, while 42% said they oppose it. Morning Consult Chief Research Officer Kyle Drop said Trump's decision to deploy National Guard troops is hugely popular with his base. 60% of Trump voters strongly approve of the decision. Among that same group, 49% strongly approve of Trump's job performance overall. Just 22% of Democratic voters support sending troops to the border, compared with 84% of Republicans. Independents are evenly divided, with 44% supporting each position. 36% said building a border wall is a priority. 54% said it was not. Trump's decision to send troops to the border is more popular than his job approval, with the poll showing just 43% approve of his performance. A majority, 52%, disapprove of Trump's job performance. Vice President Mike Pence has a 43% favorable rating, with 42% viewing him unfavorable. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
As of today, the average cost of a pack of cigarettes has gone up to 2 hand jobs and a stick of beef jerky. For more, we go now to Onion News Network prison economics expert Hal Rogan.
The prison economy runs on cigarettes. They're involved in every economic transaction at some stage, from contract killings to naked woman picture acquisition.
Right.
That's why we've got shampoo at 6 batteries. We've got tattoos at 50 commissary stamps.
Now, for what it's really like out there in the market, let's check in with major cigarette trader Big Dap Ramirez. Big Dap, nice to see you again.
Thanks, Rick. Good to see you. What's happening, Hal?
How's it going, Big Dap?
Now, it's obviously a boom time for cigarettes cigarettes right now.
I'm getting a lot of hand
But with
jobs.
prices this high, analysis shows you're going to be seeing a drop-off in real sales soon as consumers turn to smoking grass fajos.
Look, we've been through this before. The market teaches us not to panic. But if I learn anything in this game, it's that a wife or girlfriend will pass off a few decks in the boneyard. Supply will normalize, and we'll see cigarettes returning to a single hand job or less.
Big Dap, best of luck to you. We'll keep checking in on the story with Hal throughout the day.
Thanks, Rick.
Moving on to some happier news. In Atlanta today, 2 snitches were beaten to death.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hold. Hold. Hold.
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, on the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's time for the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom, here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from our Vertcoin studio in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And you know what? We got some an interesting thing here. It's from it's from a source called The Verge. I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with them, but the article just came out about 2.5 hours ago, and it's it's covering a subject that I think is kind of interesting right now, because you see Bitcoin Gold is, I think, about to just, be gone.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to offer. Here's an idea. If you want to make a cryptocurrency, have an idea.
Yeah. How about that? So anyway, there's been a bit of a war in the cryptocurrency industry between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Censoring on Reddit, flame wars on Twitter and Facebook. I mean, it's pretty hairy out there in the Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash space in the internet. I don't really have an opinion. To me, it's like, you know what? Let it be a bloodbath, and there's 1,400 coins now. If there's 3 left when it's all over, that's cool. I don't, if I get lucky and I pick the winner, and I make a good little bit of money off of it, that's cool. If I don't, then, I wasn't rich before. I'm still not rich now. It's not like I lost anything, So, but it says here, Bitcoin began from nothingness. The Genesis block was mined January 3rd, 2009, and yeah, the design was good, and there was no double spending, and Bitcoin's followers became many.
I have to object to that opening statement. It did not begin from nothing. It began from a brilliant idea, a brilliant solution to a long-standing problem.
It's like creation coming out of the primordial ooze. It's still seen as nothingness, the void, where there was nothing that was doing this. Now something is there. And it says they used Bitcoin to buy a pizza and alpaca socks and drugs on the Silk Road. And they told their friends to use Bitcoin. And they emailed eBay to ask it to let people pay in Bitcoin. And they told their friends to email eBay. And they created long threads about Bitcoin on the eBay support forum. And it was good. There was one team, and it was Team Bitcoin. But soon Bitcoin got attention from journalists, governments, Silicon Valley, and Wall Street, and the network began to slow down. Team Bitcoin realized that if nothing was done, the network would become unusably slow, with transactions taking days or weeks to clear. If users wanted their transactions to clear faster, they'd have to pay high fees for priority, making Bitcoin impractical to use. And thus began the the scalability crisis. Two factions emerged, the big blockers and the small blockers, each armed with different solutions to the scalability crisis.
Giggity, by the way.
Right. Everyone hated the idea of splitting up Team Bitcoin, but each side believed in their own righteousness, and they would not yield. On August the 1st, 2017, the big blockers seceded. They duplicated the Bitcoin blockchain, the ledger with the history of transactions, and begat a daughter, Bitcoin Cash. Thus was known as a hard fork, and it meant that the two currencies would split ways forever, with Bitcoin Cash transactions recorded on a separate ledger. Everyone who had Bitcoin on August 1st would be granted equal amounts of Bitcoin Cash. This was the start of the Bitcoin Civil War, and it continues to this day. Warring subreddits, Wikipedia edit wars, April Fool's Day sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency community with fake announcements that diehard advocates of Bitcoin had endorsed Bitcoin Cash. In early April, a moderator of the Deconomy conference in Seoul asked, "Why does there have to be such animosity between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash?" Bitcoin Cash advocate Roger Ver responded that the split had, quote, diverted the project, and that means more babies are dying around the world because they have less economic freedom. His fellow panelist, Samson Mao, a Bitcoin supporter who was more measured, saying that the animosity comes from the use of the Bitcoin name, but he's less aloof on Twitter, where his tweets are full of digs at Bitcoin Cash. Gavin Andreessen, who served as the lead developer for Bitcoin after Satoshi Nakamoto, once called Mao a toxic troll. A week later, some in the Bitcoin community cheered when Twitter briefly suspended the Bitcoin Cash supporting @Bitcoin Twitter account, possibly due to false reports from Bitcoin supporters. So you have this huge war going on in the crypto community. Tom, as a lawyer and having worked in like what's the like intellectual property, do you think that that Bitcoin being able to say no, you can't use the term Bitcoin in your name at all could have prevented this? Or do you think that it literally was going to happen no matter what?
I think it would have definitely cut down on some of the market confusion, and it would have taken away, probably more importantly, that immediate cachet that the hard forks gained by having the name Bitcoin in their name. Of course, not as relevant to the discussion we're having now. It would have been especially helpful when you had the fake Bitcoin mimics, like Bitcoin Platinum, Bitcoin Silver, and Bitcoin with 2 eyes came out. It would have been helpful for that if they'd have been enforcing the IP rights in the Bitcoin name from the beginning. At the same time, I have to wonder if Bitcoin had acted in that way, like a more standard corporation, like a more standard
libertarians would have thrown it out with the trash.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying. Would we even be talking about Bitcoin now if Bitcoin had taken a more normative stance towards its own intellectual property? So it's kind of like
I don't believe for a second.
Two sides of the same ahistorical coin,
Yeah, I don't think for a second that you would be able to do that at all, and libertarians embrace it the way that they did. So, anyway, back to the article here. It says arguments have developed over 3 or 4 years of bitter debate, according to Andreas Antonopoulos, the author of Mastering Bitcoin and the Internet of Money. Principles are real, and they're important to preserve, but a lot of the drama has nothing to do with principles anymore. A lot of this debate is about hurt feelings, bruised egos, and things that were said that can't be unsaid, insults that were exchanged, personalities, and again, lots of ego. So when we get back, we're going to get into that a discussion of that, because I've seen with my own two eyes a lot of that happening in different crypto communities. Basically, anger and egos becoming hyperinflated and creating huge amounts of division. And it not just happening in the crypto community, it's also really big among libertarians as well. So if you want to weigh in, give us a call at 603-283-6160. We'll be right back here on The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
My personal position on the death penalty is this. We know for a fact that there have been hundreds of people who have been wrongly convicted for various offenses. People who were wrongly convicted of murder and who were sentenced to death, who have later been exonerated. And from that, we can deduce that there have been innocent people who were executed for crimes they did not commit. And the fact that I do consider myself to be consistently pro-life, I don't support using taxpayer funds to kill any human at all, anywhere. Using any money that is taken by force and then used to murder people is wrong.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom, brought to you by Helium.com. Unasikiliza Crypto Hour inayohusu wito wa uhuru, imeletwa kwako na Helium.com.
Disclaimer. When I die, I want to be put into orbit around Earth in a flying kick position. This is my dream. My dream. My dream. My dream. My dream. This is my dream.
All right. Welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So, yeah, man, we are here in the middle of the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium. That's helium with an E.com. Be sure to go on over to Helium, HELEUM.com/CTF, and get a special offer for being a Call to Freedom listener. We're talking about the war on social media and the internet between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and how this has basically created a division in the community that didn't used to be there. And it has people that at one time were good friends and now at each other's throats in public. And a lot of people thought, well, maybe it had something to do with money. Other people thought, well, maybe it was about principles. And this author says, and Antonio Antonopoulos seemed to think that, well, it's actually more about hurt feelings and bruised egos. Now, let's see here. The only real difference between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash is a technical one. Bitcoin Cash allows for larger blocks or batches of transactions that get passed through the network, which theoretically means it can process more transactions per second. Bitcoin is also concerned with increasing transaction volume, but its solution involved moving some data off the Bitcoin blockchain, therefore keeping the blocks on the blockchain small. This theoretically preserves the spirit of the Bitcoin experiment because small blocks make it cheaper for anyone to run a node, which means the network can be run by a giant collective of small users instead of institutions like banks. Now, in general, the Bitcoin Cash Coalition favors the use of its currency as a medium of exchange for commerce. The generic saying Bitcoin Cash people like to say is, will my grandma be able to use it? Host Corey, the co-host of the BCH Boys and organizer of the New York City Bitcoin Cash meetups, who asked that only his first name be used, told me in an email, by contrast, the Bitcoin Coalition is generally friendlier to cryptocurrency investors and less concerned with everyday payments. Bitcoin is a store of value first and foremost, Michael Morrow, CEO of Genesis Trading, which brokers Bitcoin trades for institutions and large investors, said in an email. I don't think it's very useful currently for payments for a whole host of reasons. He said his firm is agnostic toward individual coins, but that investor interest in Bitcoin Cash has basically been non-existent in the last couple of months. That's the reason why Bitcoin Cash went from $0 to like $2,800, right? Wasn't that what? How high did it end up getting, Aria?
I think 2,800 is about right.
I think it peaked out, just barely under 3,000. I know now it's back down. It's down around. I was just looking. It was like around 8. Oh, 7. So it's right now at $711. So not a very impressive number today, but still around 10% of a Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was around $2,000, Bitcoin Cash was trading at $2,800. So more than 10% of a Bitcoin. So at least it's keeping its value pretty close to around 10% of a Bitcoin, which to me that makes it the silver to Bitcoin's gold, basically. Wouldn't you say?
I think that's a fair analogy.
And Bitcoin gold,
except the gold here sucks, and the silver is better.
Right? Well, in truth, isn't that what it is with gold and silver in the market? Gold is a better store of value. It's harder to spend because gold is worth more. But if you go to events, you can spend silver. It's easy to spend. It comes in small denominations, and you can spend $2, $6, $10, $20 at a time. Whereas gold coins, you're stuck spending $300. It's a store of value rather than a currency. So I think the correlation is even better. And then I would say Bitcoin Gold is I would call it the tin, but tin has a usefulness. Who got the joke? Any and cap? Terry Arcona in the Discord chat wants to know: are there any and caps in the house?
No, here?
No, we're all Rand Paul fans around here.
Rand Paul.
Oh my Lord. All right. Anyway. So yeah, if you look at the two coins on the Bitcoin side, I see enormous focus on price, an enormous focus on the store of value narrative. Emun Gunsirer, a professor at Cornell, co-director of the Initiative for Cryptocurrencies and Contracts, and a Bitcoin Cash supporter. Store of value refers to an asset that doesn't depreciate. If you're looking at what's happening with Bitcoin Cash, however, they're not really focused on price. They're focused on trying to get people to use this thing. If you look at the forums and so forth, every day there's a new message. On this tiny little island, I converted a little booth to accept Bitcoin Cash, but they're doing it grassroots, organically, from the ground up. And that's been what a lot of the work has been. It's been organic, ground up work. But I'm finding that Dash is doing better than Bitcoin Cash at getting the word out as being used as a medium of exchange. I can think of dozens of places off the top of my head in more than one state where I can go and I can spend Bitcoin or Dash. But I can think of two places that I can spend Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Cash is an option. I can think of 2 brick and mortar buildings, and that's it. So anyway, we've got Bad Slave on the line. He's calling in for us from Skype. How you doing today, Bad Slave? What do you think, and why do you think it?
Oh, well, all kinds of things. My mind only shuts off when I'm unconscious.
You're lucky. I hope you get there. I hope you get there pretty often. Since I quit drinking, I don't get to unconscious very often.
Well, I do sleep okay. I don't sleep as many hours as I used to, but whatever. The couple of things. Number one, you just mentioned 2 brick and mortar places. I think there might be 3.
That take Bitcoin Cash? Well, I'm sure there's more, but I mean, I spend crypto on a regular basis, and I
will fix people's computers for Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
Nobody has ever paid me in Bitcoin Cash, but I most certainly accept it.
Well, there's a number of cryptocurrencies that are now accepted at the ATM at the Quill.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, on the call to freedom on LRN.fm. أنتم تستمعون إلى The Crypto Hour، يقدم إليكم برعاية Helium.com على برنامج نداء للحرية على LRN.fm.
From the Verticoin Studio, this is the call to freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium. 47 here on LRN.FM. When you kill the faucet, you color 5 to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
That's right. It's the call to freedom here on LRN.FM, and it is the Crypto Hour. And we're joined today by my classic crew, Mr. Tom Gray and Miss Aria Demezio from cryptocurrencycheck.org. And we're also joined by a gentleman on the line with us right now named, well, he goes by the name Bad Slave. And he's called in today, and we've been talking about the war between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and the usability of cryptocurrencies. And so go right ahead. What else did you have to say, Bad Slave?
Well, I know that a recent edition, that was offline for a while, in ATM in Manchester at the at what's called the Friends of Porcupine FOP.
Yeah, the Friends of Porcupines.
Yeah. So
Friends of the Free State Project, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that they've got Bitcoin Cash, but I'm not sure. I know they have Dash. I know they have 3 or 4 others.
Well, I know here in Keene, and we have more cryptocurrency accepting brick and mortar businesses, as far as I know, than any other place in the country per capita. And I know of 2 out of all of those businesses. I know of 2 that accept Bitcoin Cash. That are like brick and mortar. Now I know that think Penguin will take it, and so will what's his name? Johnson. Johnson runs the Free Talk Live LRN.FM, the website where you can buy, gear for the radio station and for Free Talk Live. And he takes it, but they're internet businesses. They're not brick and mortar like these others. And the brick and mortar businesses do accept Dash, though. All of them.
Yeah.
So
very good.
So to me, it looks like Dash, even if Bitcoin Cash is really pushing the whole we're a medium of exchange, not a store of value. We're a medium of exchange, not a store of value. Well, that's great, but Dash is whooping y'all's butt. Well, what's going to happen? Getting it done category.
What's going to happen is there's going to be
currency
there's going to be a saturation point that cryptocurrencies, kind of hit the big time. And I think at that point in time, it's going to take off. I mean, I hope it does. And I hope it's soon, because we need, an alternative, because the dollar's on really shaky ground. And I would rather not have anybody, not have a reasonable method of transporting value around the globe, even the neighborhood, right? And so I'm looking at that, but you brought up the idea of splits and things like that, and I was looking a little deeper and thinking that there might be some well-placed agent provocateurs that are desperate to destroy things like cryptocurrency and the Free State Project, or the Liberty
community
movement
in general.
Yeah, the Liberty community. And, I actually think that the growth in the federal government and the global banksters are in cahoots to actually take down liberty as a principle, period. And that's why America's under attack. And, the likes of Clinton and even Trump are on board, as well as almost everybody that's...
Oh, yeah, left, right, and center, they're all on board. That's just the way things work. Thanks for calling in today, Bad Slave. It's always a pleasure to have you on with us. Do you want to get involved? Do you want to call in? You got an opinion on what's going on in this war, this Twitter war, Facebook war, social media war, Reddit war, between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash? Give us a call, 603-283-6160. Aria, you've been around the cryptocurrency industry for a while. What's your observation when it comes to this so-called war between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash?
I think it's good. Competition is good. Bitcoin Cash provides a motivator for Bitcoin to improve, and Bitcoin provides a motivator for Bitcoin Cash to improve. They've diverged and are going their different directions, as we would expect. But we don't want Bitcoin to reign totally unchallenged. We don't want Bitcoin Cash to reign totally unchallenged. We don't, as anarchists or free market anarchists or anarcho-capitalists, whatever you would like to call us, competition is good. while we don't want an oversaturation of competition like we have now with 300 billion different cryptocurrencies, it is good to have the Pepsi and Coca-Cola of cryptocurrencies going against each other and competing to get your money into them.
Okay, very good, very good. Tom?
I guess my concern, and this has to do with just crypto in general, is that when you have the competition, you have your resources spread out when it comes to developers. You know, the best and brightest right now in the crypto sphere, the people who are most likely to make the next crypto breakthrough, well, they're all working in different projects. And of course, some of the big ones are the three big Bitcoin forks. And when you have those people not only on different teams, but
actively working against each other.
Yeah, then I worry about whether that's going to stunt the growth of actually trying to get cryptocurrency to usability. Now, this market downturn we're experiencing right now, that may lead to some reconsolidation of those efforts, because there's not nearly as much of an opportunity for competing entities to succeed against one another. And I think we've alluded to both today and otherwise to particularly Bitcoin Gold, but possibly later Bitcoin Cash going by the wayside. Will that possibly bring some of those developers, you know, back as prodigals, whether it's to the Bitcoin project itself or to other blockchain projects that have succeeded in the stead of the Bitcoin wars?
When I'm looking at this and I'm reading it, I'm seeing reflections of the Salafi split with Orthodox Islam.
Right, and the schism in the Christian church as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, man, I'm seeing like echoes of these other things. And you know what happens is they don't always turn out well. And that's what worries me, is that sometimes these kinds of schisms turn into more than just Facebook fights and farts and arguments. And, well, I don't think that's going to be good for cryptocurrency in general. So when we get back here, we're going to continue on with this. And I'm going to follow this analogy a little further down the rabbit hole. Hopefully you guys can follow along. Stick around. We'll be right back here on The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom.
تستمتعون إلى The Crypto Hour على برنامج نداء للحرية.
Welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about this war between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Usability versus store of value. Now, another part that's not really been introduced into this is security. And you know what? It is so hard these days to keep your internet communications secure, particularly from the prying eyes of the state. Well, that's where CryptVisor comes in. You see, nowadays, the state, they can subpoena your personal information from the servers at these centralized communications companies. Or they can shut down the servers and keep you from communicating altogether. Well, you're not going to have that problem with CryptVisor because, you see, there is no centralized server. So if the feds come in and shut down one node, well, there are dozens and dozens, if not thousands, more all over the globe. So one shutdown means, well, a whole lot of nothing. And there is no information collected, let alone kept, by CryptVisor. So if the feds come around sniffing and say, hey, we want some personal info, CryptVisor doesn't even have it to give it over. So go on over to cryptvisor.network and check out some of their awesome new security features and the CVPay crypto wallet. Again, that's cryptvisor.network, your choice for secure communications. So we've been, as I said, discussing this story here about the civil war, as it's been described by some, between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. And well, my argument is that, well, Dash is better, or at least it's better at selling itself, or has a better team behind selling it as a form of quote-unquote digital cash than Bitcoin Cash has been. They've been far more effective and been able to get themselves carried in far more stores before Bitcoin Cash has. But the way that the language, the rhetoric, the direction of rhetoric is being used reminds me very, very much of the split in the 1700s between Orthodox Islam and the Salafi movement. The Salafis being a reformist movement hearkening to, quote, original visions. Anybody recognize that kind of terminology? Well, it says here Bitcoin Cash detractors like to call the cryptocurrency Bcash B-trash, or simply a scam, while Bitcoin Cash advocates insist their implementation is the more pure form of Bitcoin. A Bitcoin Cash conference that met in Tokyo in March, calling itself Satoshi's Vision. They have inferior technology, so they rely on censorship to try to stop advances of the one true Bitcoin, tweeted Bitcoin Cash billionaire proponent Calvin Ayre. And I mean, that sounds exactly like Salafis. That sounds like Abdul ibn Wahhab, Ibn Abdul Wahhab hollering about how his version is the only true version and everyone else is a non-believer. I mean, does this not have echoes of Germanic Anabaptism or Puritanism or the Azusa Street outpouring Pentecostal movements of the 1940s?
I have to defend the Puritans a little bit because it was really the Catholics who were the ones saying that the Puritans and the Protestants in general were the non-true believers and using the power often of the state to enforce that. But otherwise, yeah, your analogy is taken. And isn't it highly ironic that a technology like cryptocurrency would, where freedom and where getting out from under overbearing central authorities is so central to the ethos, would nonetheless be prone to this level of almost religious tribalism, like we've seen in both of our faiths.
Yeah.
Oh, do not go to Verge's Discord server and say anything bad about Verge.
I can't even get on Verge's Discord server, and I own an undisclosed amount of, and the mosque owns an undisclosed amount of Verge.
You need to buy some indulgences from the Verge Pope.
Yeah, really. And it's still not enough, no matter how many you buy.
Are they still not answering? Because I've even went to.
No, they are total jerks, man.
Justin, what's his face, and asked him again, like, look, man, we've been trying to get you on the show since December. Okay, like, what's up? Can we get you on? I'd like to at least get you on to promote your big thing before the big thing happens. Isn't that what you guys are doing right now? Is promoting your new big thing, this big announcement that you guys have coming on the 16th or the 18th? Well, come on the show and promote your thing, and talk about what's going to happen. And it's still no answer. So, well. Anyway. So, anyway.
They're too good for us.
Well, according to Antonopoulos, all of this infighting is quite aggravating. Quote, the bottom line is that the world is dominated by closed, monopolistic, state-owned, manipulated, controlled, surveillance-based currencies that pose a fundamental existential threat to democracy and liberty in the world.
I have to dispute many of those adjectives because they don't apply to pieces of paper that you fold up and put in your pocket.
I hate when people put democracy and liberty in the same sentence as though they were the same thing. No, I'm sorry.
Our free mob rule.
The mob, rule of the mob and liberty are antithetical to each other. I'm sorry. I mean, even the founders, who arguably from a voluntarist or a modern hardcore libertarian perspective, many of the founders were statists. They're straight up statists. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
even they wouldn't agree with it. Was it Benjamin Franklin?
I would say Hamilton certainly was.
Yes. Oh, God, Hamilton was a statist. Oh, my God, Hamilton was such a statist.
He was an open statist, though. That's what set Hamilton apart. Jefferson pretended not to be a statist, but he was statist AF.
Who was Paine?
Franklin. Yeah, Thomas Paine.
Don't say anything bad about Thomas Paine.
Payne
No,
was
we're
the
not. We're not.
anarchist, man.
He was
Okay,
was-
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever else you can say about it, you can say that. But as far as democracy versus liberty, it was Ben Franklin who was like the old dude of the group who said
The old
democracy. Well, yeah, but he was a when we
diplomat.
talked about Mike Pompeo as our chief diplomat earlier, contrast that to Ben Franklin. Instead of criticizing any of our foreign allies, sexual escapades, he would go over there and join them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, didn't Franklin?
And that's the kind of diplomacy that Ben Franklin was about. But I
The
brought him up
Bukkake
because-
diplomacy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the world needs more. That's it. The world needs more Bukkake diplomacy.
He could do some amazing things with that kite.
Hey,
Ben
I'm
Franklin.
telling you, man, Ben Franklin was Teddy Roosevelt, only instead of walk softly and carry a big stick, it
Hey-o!
was walk softly and swing a woohoo.
Woo! But he was the one who said, democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote.
There you go.
That's why I brought him up. But I think we were having a lot more fun before I brought up the serious quote, and we were just talking about all the sex Ben Franklin had.
Right. He was really anti-immigrant.
Well,
he made some comment about the bowels of the festering bowels of Europe's shores being released on the coasts of the United States.
Shores.
But he was talking about the Brits in particular. He didn't like.
Well, he had a reason for that.
He didn't want any British people moving to the U.S.
New British people.
Yeah.
New British people.
New British people moving to the U.S.
But he had a good reason for that. It wasn't like today where it's just randomly being against brown people coming here. He was against the ones who actually were like loyal to the king.
Yeah.
No
absolutely.
kings. No kings. Just,
all right. Well, when we get
just
back,
sex with French courtesans. More of that.
This is the end of today's Crypto Hour, but when we get back, we're going to have commentary on some of the biggest news stories of the day, so don't go anywhere. Did you know John Bonham? That's right, John Boehner is now investing in cannabis industries.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, April 12th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,343 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $27, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,766. Antiwar.com reports in a Twitter screed directed at Russia, President Trump indicated that U.S. missile attacks against Syria will be coming and admonished Russia to get ready if they think they can shoot the missiles down. In his comments, Trump further declared Syrian President Bashar al-Assad a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. Trump has long expressed opposition to telegraphing U.S. military moves. This is raising criticism about his announcement that he's literally doing that very thing, although U.S. officials have effectively been telegraphing an attack on Syria since the weekend. Trump followed that tweet with another and an hour later declaring, "Our relationship with Russia is worse now than it has ever been, and that includes the Cold War." He said there is no reason for this and said it would be very easy to improve ties, punctuating it curiously with "stop the arms race," which wasn't the end either. A little over an hour after that, President Trump declared much of the bad blood with Russia is caused by the fake and corrupt Russia investigation, blaming President Obama and Robert Mueller for it. Despite Trump's suggestion that hostility towards Russia is not by design, the AP is reporting that the Secretary of State nominee, Mike Pompeo, is telling senators that the soft U.S. policy towards Russia is over. While the U.S. relationship with Russia has been getting worse and worse for months, the upcoming Syria strikes seem to threaten to make the situation even worse. The U.S. attack is using an alleged chemical weapons strike Saturday in Douma as a pretext, with Trump vowing to make Syria pay the price along with Russia and Iran for supporting Assad. Both Syria's Red Crescent and Russia's defense ministry have been in Douma already, saying they found no evidence of chemical weapons use. The U.S. and its allies resisted Russia's call for an investigation at the UN, apparently unwilling to allow that to play out before they have a chance to parlay the allegations into a new war. Russia is not taking the threats of attack lying down, however. They've been jamming U.S. drones flying over Syria and have threatened to shoot down incoming U.S. missiles. Perhaps most significantly, Russia is sending their military police into Douma, likely to keep the U.S. from blowing up evidence for further investigations. With the U.S. and Russia both engaging in military actions inside Syria, often at cross purposes, the risk of direct conflict has always been there. It seems, however, that this new U.S. attack is the most serious threat yet to start a direct U.S.-Russia war, with no sign cooler heads are going to prevail. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports almost half of Americans support President Donald Trump's plan to secure the U.S.-Mexico border with National Guard troops, according to a new survey released on Wednesday. In a Politico and Morning Consult poll, 48% said they support the idea, while 42% said they oppose it. Morning Consult Chief Research Officer Kyle Drop said Trump's decision to deploy National Guard troops is hugely popular with his base. 60% of Trump voters strongly approve of the decision. Among that same group, 49% strongly approve of Trump's job performance overall. Just 22% of Democratic voters support sending troops to the border, compared with 84% of Republicans. Independents are evenly divided, with 44% supporting each position. 36% said building a border wall is a priority. 54% said it was not. Trump's decision to send troops to the border is more popular than his job approval, with the poll showing just 43% approve of his performance. A majority, 52%, disapprove of Trump's job performance. Vice President Mike Pence has a 43% favorable rating, with 42% viewing him unfavorable. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
And in a surprise announcement this morning, U.S. Deputy Surgeon General Greg Paulson stated that, quote, it's fine to smoke cigarettes if you only smoke while drinking. The Deputy Surgeon General has called a press conference to discuss the shocking findings, which began just moments ago. Let's go live to that now.
Was there a particular study this report was based on?
Look, that determination was made after considering that someone who only smokes when at bars or parties ends up smoking maybe 15 cigarettes a month, while regular smokers are smoking 150 to 200 cigarettes each week. So we feel that it's just obvious that as long as you don't actually buy the cigarettes and you only smoke them while consuming the alcohol, then the risks of getting lung cancer are basically mostly negligible. Just common sense.
This announcement comes on the heels of the Surgeon General's last announcement that drinking and driving is fine if you ate a lot that day or if it's a route you take all the time sober. Moving on, the Japanese Space Agency has announced plans to put a schoolgirl on the moon by 2015.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Welcome back into the final hour of this Thursday afternoon drive home broadcast of The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And it is a wonderful crypto community. As I was saying earlier in Crypto Hour, we have the most cryptocurrency accepting brick and mortar businesses of any other place probably in the world per capita. Now, a lot of people, they want to come visit because of that. And you know what? I always tell you, it's a great idea to come visit. It's even a better idea to stay. But you can come see us this summer. It's a great opportunity. It's called ForkFest. You can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, activists, and libertarians this summer from June 14th through the 18th for ForkFest 2018 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest is a fork of other camping parties in the woods, and you're invited to come create whatever experience you would like others to have. ForkFest is completely decentralized. Call it the Unvention. That means nobody's in charge, so everyone is. It's completely up to you to decide to create what happens. Or, well, you know what? You can simply bring a cooler, grab a lawn chair, set up a tent, kick back, relax all week, with some great liberty-loving friends in the woods. Go over to forkfest.party. You can join the forum or the Telegram chat group there and learn more. Again, that's forkfest.party. So we're back here, third hour. And, well, I got some news I wanted to cover for you guys. I wanted to let our friends out there know, because, you know, there's been a lot of hullabaloo, especially with us covering the Pompeo appointments today, you know, about the Jeff Sessions appointment, and you know how, you know, it's going to be an absolute apocalypse for medical cannabis and legal recreational cannabis in different states. And well, I wanted to this story. It's from Ben Adlin with Leafly, and it's a little less henny penny and a little more reason and rationale. It says here, don't expect Jeff Sessions' undoing of the Cole memo to unleash a nationwide crackdown. By rescinding Justice Department guidelines that encouraged federal prosecutors to take a hands-off approach in legal states, the Attorney General isn't too much dropping bombs as he is encouraging his lieutenants to fire at will. It will be up to individual U.S. attorneys to pull the trigger.
Is that a literal fire at will?
Right.
It could very quickly could be.
Right.
If they're black and wearing a hoodie.
Right.
Uh-huh.
In other words, a crackdown on state legal cannabis, if it comes, it'll likely happen unevenly, districts by district. U.S. attorneys will decide for themselves how to enforce federal cannabis law or whether to enforce it at all. This is exactly what we saw in California during the last major federal crackdown in 2011 and 2012.
I hate to keep interrupting, but this guy's a Republican, right?
No.
Okay.
No. The Sessions is a Republican?
Yeah.
Yes, not the office.
Yeah. The rule of the rule of law people, right?
Yeah.
And now they're just, it's going to be up to people to pick and choose which laws.
It's just saying something obvious here is all that's really happening.
The left is really big on rule of law as long as it's like pay your taxes or don't own a gun. Or
don't be black.
No, the left doesn't mind if you're black.
Yeah, we're talking about the left now.
Yeah, the right's the one that has the problem with you being the wrong color and breathing. It says U.S. attorneys in some parts of California tried to close every dispensary in their districts. Others allowed shops to operate unimpeded. Is this the new normal? If it is, it's crucial to understand not just Sessions' views, but where each U.S. attorney stands on cannabis. To that end, we're tracking how U.S. attorneys in legal states have responded to the removal of the Cole memo and how likely they are to take action. You'll notice a common theme as you read through this piece. U.S. attorneys are playing their cards very close to the chest. Most have issued murky statements that can be interpreted a number of ways. We've done our best to parse the available information and add to those statements to get a better sense of the risk of prosecution in their specific district. Initially, looking at states that have legalized adult use cannabis. This will be updated to include more information about U.S. attorneys in medical-only states. And then it's going through Alaska. The U.S. attorney in Alaska is a Trump appointee, whom the Senate confirmed in November. He's not giving anything to go on. He said in a statement shortly after Sessions announced that his office would continue using long-established principles in deciding which cases to charge. He added that violent crime, including that which stems from drugs, has been a top priority. Schroeder's statement, like his record on cannabis, is particularly thin, aside from any violent incidents in the state system, which would almost certainly draw his attention. It's not clear what action, if any, his office might take. In California, interim attorney Nicola Hanna took his post last week when Sessions appointed him and 16 others. It's worth noting that Hanna was a federal prosecutor in L.A. and San Diego during the 90s when the war on drug was in full swing, and then left the office for private practice, taking a position at the international firm Gibson and Dunn. He hasn't said much on cannabis, but in 2016, presidential election records show that he gave $2,700 to the campaign of Chris Christie, a notorious anti-cannabis crusader. Complicating it all, Hanna's gig is only temporary. He can only serve for 120 days, and then Trump must appoint someone else and seek Senate confirmation. In Sacramento, well, it's a little different. You might get thrown in prison for it. The Sacramento Bee reports that U.S. Attorney Greg
That's
Scott,
a pretty big might.
Yeah.
You might get thrown into a rape farm for the next 25 years.
Yep. Well, there's none of them that seem particularly like they will. Everybody here is rated either a medium or an unknown.
Well, that's because the person who compiled that article doesn't want to be responsible. If they say, yeah, you won't get prosecuted here, and then someone gets prosecuted there.
Well, no, they're not.
Right, Tom?
No one here is saying
Pretty
like
much.
that it's a big, huge risk that you're going to go to prison. In these, and again, these are states. They're only listing states where you have adult recreational cannabis use is allowed. So they're saying that it's not a big chance, but almost all of these people are Trump nominees. So you've got very little to go on as far as their record in office at the moment. Some of them saying that that they don't like medical cannabis or adult cannabis use. Others saying that they do. Most of them without a whole lot of record on the issue.
But they all have one thing in common.
They were appointed
They're federal prosecutors.
And they were either appointed by Jeff Sessions or they were appointed by Donald Trump.
That's not nearly, and I think this is actually part of his point, is that that's not nearly as relevant as the fact that they're federal prosecutors.
Exactly.
They want to maximize their convictions.
Exactly.
And when they're in states that just don't want the pot around, they're going to come after them.
Well, even in states where it's been legal for years, like California, in some districts, you're going to have a moderate worry that the feds are going to come crashing into your door in the middle of the night, shoot
Especially
your dog,
if you've got money laying around.
Firebomb your kids because, you stepped out of line and you grew a plant that by state law was legal, but Big Bad Uncle Sam, he says, no, you shouldn't do that.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
The Relationship Pro talks to your girlfriend so you don't have to.
We're joined today in our demo center by Eric and Pam, a couple that's been teetering on the edge of divorce for years.
So, Pam, you guys have been using the controller all morning. I understand it's a very good listener.
It's like talking to a fully developed person.
It's got to be a major relief not needing your husband to be your partner or a friend.
Oh, yeah.
So, Eric, it must be a tremendous relief to know that there's someone else on the other end of Pam's eye rolls.
Oh, now I can focus on my game instead of worrying about all that stuff she said there.
Will the Relationship Pro keep you two together?
I think it'll drag this thing out for another couple months.
Amazing. Now, to thank you two for coming on the show, we bought you two the new deluxe Relationship Pro Extreme.
This expanded model has two new modes. Fantasy mode, which allows you to select the age and nationality of the controller's voice.
Oh, I choose a voice like my dad's.
Okay. And a hyper-realistic mode that starts fights and then grovels pathetically when it's afraid you might get rid of it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So we're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about, the latest in cannabis news. I wanted to, we've been talking about so much bad news lately, and the Pompeo hearings and civil wars in the crypto industries and all this kind of stuff. I wanted some kind of news that made me feel a little bit better. And, I'm a big fan, as I said, of Leafly. They do a lot of news. They don't just tell you, this cannabis is good for pain, this is good for arthritis. They actually cover the latest in news, and they have an area specifically devoted to politics. And I love to go in there and look around and look for good news stories. And, one that I found here that I was really happy to hear. And, Tom, you work in Virginia, so you probably have already heard about this. But now, according to Virginia's cannabis law, any condition is a qualifying condition. The doors to Virginia's medical cannabis system are now completely open. Late last week, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam signed a bill into law that drastically expanded the state program, allowing patients to use cannabis oil to treat any diagnosed medical condition.
Keyword oil.
Prior to the change, only patients with intractable epilepsy could use cannabis without fear of criminal penalties. The move transforms Virginia from one of the country's most exclusive medical cannabis states to one of the most accessible. The legislation, signed on Friday by the governor, passed as House Bill 1251 and Senate Bill 726, respectively, and it allows any physician to recommend cannabis treatment. Under the previous law, only neurologists and epilepsy specialists could make such recommendations. It also increases the amount of cannabis oil patients can purchase from any of the state's 5 approved producers. Thanks to an emergency clause in the legislation, the law takes effect immediately. Those who suffer from intractable epilepsy have already seen the benefits of cannabidiol oil and how it can improve their quality of life. One of the law's chief backers, State Delegate Eileen Filler-Korn, told the local news leader newspaper last month after the legislation won overwhelming support in the House and Senate. These bills, she said, will allow more Virginians to benefit from cannabidiol oil. You notice how she's not calling it cannabis oil? She's using this much, much longer name.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've made a legal distinction between the two so that they can get away with doing this without appearing to the whatever you would call them, the reactionaries, as approving of the cannabis. What's really surprising, by the way, is this passed both the House and the Senate in Virginia unanimously.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often in Virginia with anything. The other thing that's in here that I didn't see yet in the article, and maybe further down, is the fact that the same bill increases the supply that a prescriber can prescribe from a 30-day supply to a 90-day supply. Yes. So it's a pretty big sea change for Virginia. Well, now Virginia is they've certainly had a major demographic shift in the past few years. Not really in terms of people, but in terms of the leanings, particularly of, Northern Virginia around the DC area has always been pretty blue. But it's the burbs of Northern Virginia that are chock full of rich people that have really changed from being pretty deep red to slightly blue in the past few years, and it's really over.
It's purple and swollen now.
Yep, it's really over issues like this more than anything. This and national politics, but it's issues of fiscal and individual liberty. They've really shifted. Now the real Northern Virginia Democrats are still massive statists because they're all hugely addicted to the teats of big government and especially the defense establishment. But when seeing something like this pass in Virginia is a really interesting indicator when it comes to other well-moneyed states and areas that have those pockets of traditionally dark red wealth, like New York State comes to mind, New Jersey. What are some other examples? Maryland, possibly another example. So it does represent a pretty significant shift in their thinking.
Yeah.
Now
it says here that the new law also it does preserve the state's prohibition on cannabis flowers, edibles, and other cannabis products. That only oils are permitted. And while other rules appear designed to keep patients specifically from getting high, cannabis experts note that individuals can easily convert the non-intoxicating THCA oil into active THC through a process known as decarboxylation, which involves essentially gently heating. So,
how do you accomplish that?
I don't know.
I can't imagine. Could you possibly use fire for such a thing, Will?
Or a vaporizer.
Ooh. Do they sell some sort of device, such as a pipe, that could accomplish this?
You mean like a little bitty pin that you would screw a cartridge onto the tip of that has a button on it, and then you would
What a novel concept. Someone should open a store at a mall and sell that.
Or you could open one on a corner of West. I think it's Emerald Street and Washington in Keene, New Hampshire, and sell them by the bundle.
I think they have like 3 of those stores in the Fair Oaks Mall there in Fairfax, where I visit every year when I have that cybersecurity CLE up there.
Yeah. She's so awesome. Like I can go there and get the CBD oil. She sells the CBD oil syringes right there. So I can just go in, grab a CBD oil syringe if I want to, and the little cartridge to put the stuff in. It's all right there. I mean, it's a normal thing here. It has been for quite some time. So anyway, well, when we get back, we're going to continue on. It turns out that, there's some folks in Utah that are making a big stink. Some guys just over the border, they opened a pot shop selling the devil's lettuce. And, some Utah lawmakers are pretty peeved about it. We'll get into that when we get right back. Call to Freedom.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way.
Love as your guide.
And liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about, what is going to get you a medical cannabis card in Virginia now under their new law that, with a special provision, is, it's effective immediately. So now, under Virginia law, any condition is now an acceptable condition for you to be prescribed cannabis oils. Now, that doesn't mean you can get flowers, edibles, concentrates, dab, shatter, any of those kinds of things. Only oils. Because I guess the state's like, it's THCA oil, and THCA oil won't actually give anyone what they call, quote unquote, a head change. It will have no psychoactive effects. But as the article promptly points out, just a little moderate amount of heat is all that's necessary for you to convert THCA into the psychoactive THC. THC 9, and boom. Now all of the legislation meant to keep people from getting a buzz off of medicating or any pain relief out of medicating it's all for naught. But moving right along, we have another story, of course, of government officials with their panties in a bunch and all over a plant that could literally grow in a cul-de-sac ditch on the side of the road with very little effort other than some stoned teenagers pitching seeds out the window while they roll their doobies on the side of the interstate. And I've literally seen this when I lived in Florida. I lived in the middle of the Ocala National Forest, and you could tell where the school bus stops were because in the middle of June, you would go and there would be 6 or 8 inch tall pot plants. And the way that you knew that was be where kids would sit and they would separate the seeds out of their cheap dirt weed and throw them on the ground and roll joints and smoke pot when they either before they got on the bus or after they got off the bus from school. And you would go out in the middle of the summer and there would be pot plants growing everywhere. So I mean, it's literally something so natural that what is it Cat Williams said? It's just a seed. It's a plant. You put it in the ground and it just grow. Because that's what it is. It's a plant. It just grow. Well, some Utah officials, they're a little wary of a cannabis shop that is opened up in the tiny town of Dinosaur, Colorado, just a few miles from the state line. Now, I myself come from an area that was known of as a moist county. We were in border, right? We bordered some dry counties. Now, I don't think, Tom, are there any completely dry counties left in the state of Tennessee?
I'm pretty sure that the county where Jack Daniels is made there in Lynchburg is still dry.
Really? Lynchburg is still dry?
I'm not totally certain about that, but I know that, as is the case in Bourbon County, Kentucky, it was Jack Daniels themselves that wanted to make sure that stayed dry so that they, had a monopoly of sorts. They didn't want their competitors being able to sell their product in their backyard.
You're right.
I'll
Moore
double check
County,
that.
Tennessee is a dry county, notwithstanding that it's home of the Jack Daniels dispensary. A special state law allows the distillery to sell small commemorative bottles of Jack Daniels whiskey to tourists, but not on Sunday. Mountain City is
they're about to change that. Have you heard about this in Tennessee? The Senate just passed a bill that would allow first it would allow grocery stores to sell wine on Sunday, but eventually it would phase in liquor stores being able to be open on Sunday.
Wow.
To sell wine.
Now, I'm going to have to challenge this because I lived in Blount County. This here says Campbell, Blount, Crockett, Carter, Hancock, Sevier, Stewart, and Weakley are all dry counties, but that several municipalities within Blount County are wet. But Sevier County is not a dry county. You can buy beer. That makes it a moist county.
Well, but you got to remember that a lot of Sevier County is incorporated either into Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, or Gatlinburg. So they're talking about just the county areas. I live in one of those counties that you named, and it's correct that the county is dry, but the city that is the seat of our county is not dry. And, really, the 3 liquor stores that are within city limits are all within 15. You can get to at least one of them within 15 minutes from anywhere in the county. Right. So it's sort of all that's really happening is that the county is screwing itself out of revenue.
Now, when I lived in Lenoir, I lived in a little town in Loudoun County, Tennessee, called Lenoir City. It's where I grew up, and I grew up on in an area called Highway 441, and it was right up the road from a junction between 2 highways, right next to where all the truck stops were. And there was this little bitty, you would go from Lenoir City, which was town, and then you would drive through country, or county land, which is where I lived, out in the country. And then you would keep going and keep going and keep going. And then right at the county line, there was this flourishing of businesses, tattoo parlors, piercing parlors, a big gas station, and an enormous liquor store with a pizza parlor that served alcohol by the drink right next door. And it was because it was the county line. And there was this little bitty economic boom in this little spot. You had restaurants and all these things that were able to survive off of the draw of one liquor store and a gas station that served beer and a pizza shop that served beer in that area. You know, so this is a normal thing to see happen. And now we're seeing it happen with these cannabis stores. You've got this place, it's popped up. It's just right across the state line in Colorado, and they're selling cannabis. And now you've got Utah Highway Patrol people and state legislators having a conniption fit because they're afraid that substances that are banned in their area will be making it across the border. Well, then I guess you're going to have to search every car that comes into the state of Utah from Colorado. It says here, Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Todd Royce.
Don't give them any ideas.
Right. Reminded residents of Utah where recreational cannabis remains illegal and that they will still be charged and prosecuted if they bring the substance into Utah or consume it in the state, according to Desert News. Retail and medical marijuana is sold in at least 2 other Colorado towns near the Utah state line, Cortez and DeBeek, I think is how you say that. But neither is as close to the state's border as Dinosaur, about 3 miles away. Dinosaur residents in 2016 voted 102 to 50 to authorize the establishment and operation of adult-use cannabis stores as well as a medical marijuana center. The ballot question also authorizes cultivation, product manufacturing, and testing facilities, because evidently the people in Dinosaur, Colorado, are fairly devoted to improving their local economy. Rocky Mountain Cannabis is the first of what could be 4 retail shops in a town of about 350 people, says Dinosaur Mayor Richard Blakely. It's kind of hard to... Really, 4 cannabis stores in a town of 350 people that's 3 miles from the Utah state line. Yeah, I'm going to have to say it's kind of obvious that this is a Dixie Lee Junction liquor store kind of situation here where these people know that Utah people are going to want to get some smoke, and they're going to have plenty of shops just across the border to provide for that untapped market because, well,
I can't imagine why Mormons would want to get high.
Utah lawmakers just aren't smart enough.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's Antiwar.com.
You can't win if you don't enter, and you actually can improve your chances of winning a prize drawing if you wrinkle up your entry blank. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com, and I speak from experience. Why this works: if they'll be spinning the drum before drawing, your entry blank will move around more than, and not adhere to, other perfectly flat entry blanks. And if they don't spin the drum and merely reach into a box full of other perfectly flat entry blanks, many of which are sticking together, yours will feel different to the person reaching in. When you win, act surprised. And if you're looking for work, this is a metaphor. For more tips on sticking out in a world where just too much blends into the blah, 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 hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets. Free Talk Live.
There's going to be no food by February.
Oh, that seems a little extreme. I find that hard to believe.
Well, watch it happen. Hope you find Christ.
Oh, good luck, buddy. Thanks.
What really turned me away from religion was the fact that most of them are so intolerant and nasty.
What do you mean?
Your life will suck unless you find Jesus. Well, I had Jesus a long time ago, and he didn't really do anything for me, so I got away from that.
Right, and I can tell you that if you want to have that attitude with people, like,
Good
well,
luck
you better find Christ, or you're going to burn in hell.
Yeah.
Then you know.
Good luck converting people.
Yeah, I really want to hang out with people like you, there, Keith. I really want to hang out with people like you. So I'm sorry to those good Christians out there listening that aren't like Keith. But it's the loudmouths like Keith that do real damage to your religion and how people feel about it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
Segment of this Thursday night live broadcast of the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Now, I've been joined live via remote tonight by our classic crew, Miss Aria DiMezio from cryptocurrencycheck.org and Mr. Tom Gray, our homeless Republican cybersecurity attorney, legal expert type. Tom's
nice, thanks.
There we go. I'll give you something. There we go. He's our legal expert, the attorney and homeless Republican, the token taxpayer, Mr. Tom Gray.
I don't like that one nearly as much.
Right?
It's true. It's true. And I've still got to do that crap. You know what's really driving me nuts right now is I have my individual federal income tax return filled out and ready to file it. The only thing keeping me from filing it is that in order to verify who I am, they want me to put in what my AGI was on last year's tax return, adjusted gross income. And because my C drive went kaput a few months ago, that's like the only tax return I don't have. And I'm trying to get my transcript from the IRS, and the IRS doesn't believe that I am who I am. So I know the IRS owes me money, and I'm having to spend a whole lot more time than it's worth to get it. But if I don't get the money that the IRS owes me in time, then the IRS will tell me that I instead owe them money in the form of a tax penalty.
Yes. I'm dealing with that right now. My mom is going to owe $10,000 because the IRS doesn't believe that my kids are her grandkids. I didn't make enough really to need to file last year, so my mom claimed my kids on her taxes.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't do that.
She
They're
lives
not,
with us. She's lived
they're
with
not,
us. She pays
but they're
half
not legally
the rent.
defined as dependents.
No, she
Have
pays.
you talked to Melanie about this?
Yes, she pays half
Okay.
of the. She paid half the rent. She paid half of all the bills. She was on the lease. Some of the utility bills were in her name. I spoke to the IRS about it, let alone Melanie. And basically, the issue is that they weren't sure that it was a real thing. So now I have to verify that the kids did live there and that whole thing happened, and it's like a $10,000 thing if it's not. But the IRS has already assured me that once I send the paperwork in and they verify that she's grandma and that kind of thing, then it will go away, and then my mom can finally file her taxes this year.
Yeah, you know what we need for conversations like this? There's a professional wrestler, Mike Rotunda.
I love that
who
name.
was very accomplished in the independents, but when he wrestled for WWF, they gave him a gimmick, and he was Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, and he was the tax man. And his big taunt was that he would accuse the crowd of being tax cheats and accuse all the good guys of not paying their taxes. So like all of his promos were like, and all of you people need to pay your taxes. And we just need to be able to cue that sound up whenever I'm chastising you about paying taxes or whenever you're making fun of me for paying taxes. IRS.
Yeah, right. Well, now
pay your taxes.
We've been talking about the story, and this really, like I said, this is just par for the course for dry counties in Tennessee, in Mississippi, in Alabama, where you have dry counties up next to wet counties. So wet counties have liquor stores and gas stations that sell beer literally right on the city-county line. Some of them it's right across the street. We were talking about taxes on sodas in one New Jersey city where you buy your pizza on one side of the road and you buy your soda on the other side of the road so that you don't have to pay the $1 upcharge in taxes to buy a soda. So, I mean, we're seeing people are going to migrate and they're going to ignore these imaginary lines and they're going to seek out freedom. And even the Republican state reps in Utah acknowledge that. You have State Rep Scott Chu saying, I really think this dispensary is anticipating the bulk of their retail is going to be headed Utah's way. You can buy it there legally. It's no skin off the establishment's nose if people buy it there and head to Utah. I really think a big portion of their retail is going to be headed to our state, which I have concerns about because it's not legal in our state. Not because it's dangerous, not because of any of, at least he was honest about the fact that he's like, well, no, I don't think it's because, kids are going to be smoking crack. I think it's because, well, the law says so. I mean, at least he didn't divulge into fear mongering.
Yep. I mean, what are you going to do? He told the truth for once.
I love this. This is when the store opened in Dinosaur, the store owner posted warning signs in his windows for customers not to cross state lines with its products, according to the Dinosaur mayor, Richard Blakely. So everything's good. We put a sign up that said, don't take the stuff here to Utah. We told them not to. So what do you want me to do? And I can hear the Utah folks like, we want you to search people's cars before they leave Colorado so that we don't have to look like Nazis when we do it.
Of course, because Utah is such a liberty-oriented state, after all.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, I mean, Colorado, Colorado's going to be like, no, we don't want all those free tax dollars. 25% or something like that is what the tax rate is every time it changes hands. So the grower, when he buys seed, 25% tax on seed. then when he sells to the company that makes the oils and the extracts and does the cleaning and all that kind of stuff, they another 25% tax. Then from there to the dispensaries, another 25% tax. And then from the dispensary into your hands, another 25% tax. That's what 125% in taxes that you're paying by the time it gets from the man who sold the seeds to the man who bought the finished product and smoked it or ate it or shot up the marijuana's in his eyeballs and had a stroke, or any whatever crazy nonsense that you believe about cannabis. Whenever that happens, 125% in taxes. Please tell me why it is in Colorado's best interest to say we don't want Dinosaur, Colorado to sell cannabis 3 miles from the Utah state border. Tell me why. Tell me why Colorado should be like, no, you shouldn't do that. Why is it in Colorado's best interest? They're not going to say it. They're not going to do it. They're going to be like, look, we told them not to.
Well, because then Utah might make it more difficult for Colorado residents to get some of their fine exports, like magic Mormon underwear. Yeah.
Like Mormonism.
We're not going to let you Colorado people get married at the temple.
Utah's #1 export, magic underwear and sand. No, really. Does Utah have it?
Salt, right?
Salt. There we go, salt. If you let those potheads come into your state and buy marijuana, then we won't give you salt. You know what?
From the lake, the big one.
Right. You know what? 100 years ago, 150 years ago, that may have actually been some kind of a threat. But
salt was kind of important in the Old West. That was the only way you could get meat from place to place when you're crossing the Rockies.
This is not the days of Wyatt Earp. It is 2018 around here. I'm sorry, Utah legislators, but you are not.
By the way, the largest crop in Utah is hay.
Hay?
Hay. This is from.
I didn't think
Utah
hay would
State.
be considered a crop.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's important if you're feeding a lot of cattle.
Yeah, but a crop.
But I don't think they have a lot of cattle in Colorado, owing to the fact that cattle don't really like mountains that much.
All right. Well, tomorrow we're going to have everybody's favorite segment. It's going to be Libertarian Drama of the Week. I hear that the final vote for the ouster of Arvin Vohra was this week. We're going to be covering that. And then, of course, commentary on the biggest crypto news and political news and your calls as well. So don't go anywhere, though. We've got Daryl and Mark in the studio right now because Free Talk Live is coming up next.
All right, see you tomorrow, guys.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per